invigorating. Not as invigorating as Arizona air, though. Oh, hello there. Welcome to St. John Paul II Drama Club's production of Sherlock Holmes. At this time, I ask that you please silence or turn off all cell phones. I ask that you, if you do take photography, please turn off your flash because it may blind the actors. And there's a video already being taken of the show, so there's no need to use your phone for that. The lavatories are out the door that you entered to the right. And if you have any children that are prone to crying, or crying husbands, I get it. There will be a cry room out the same door to the left in the library. In case of a disaster, the cast and crew will remove the curtains and we will help you exit quickly and calmly, and then we'll get Sherlock right on the case as soon as possible. Finally, there's one scene that does have strobing light effects, so I ask that if you have epilepsy or any strobing light related illnesses, to guard your eyes during that scene. Now will you please stand and join me in praying for the cast and crew. Gentlemen, if you can remove your hats. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Dear God, thank you for this afternoon. Thank you for your love and your blessing upon this production. I ask that you bless the crew and all the actors in all of their endeavors through this show. We lay these intentions at the foot of your cross as we pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. St. John Paul II, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hip hip, cheerio, and enjoy the show.
The paper, madame.
You may read the paper below stairs when I'm done with it, not before.
Oh, but there's something here that might interest you.
Let me see that. Murder at Whitechapel, gang war, jewels stolen from the Tower of London.
Royal wedding, second column.
Royal wedding for Prince of Bohemia. Undoubtedly, you've heard me and my husband discussing certain private matters in regard to the prince.
I know my place.
Do you? You better give up any idea of blackmail. Otherwise, I shall inform Scotland Yard that I have a wanted forger in my employ.
Please, Miss Larrabee, I told you the strictest confidence.
It was because of your criminal past that I hired you. I needed someone who could keep his mouth shut.
Blackmail? Nothing was further from my mind.
I trust so, for your sake.
The parlor maid wishes to give notice.
Oh, I pay her well.
Well, certain things in the house distress poor Teresa.
I'll speak to the girl.
Yes, madam.
Is Royal Highness Prince Karl van Stalberg of Bohemia will wed Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandria Romanov of Russia.
I found Sid. She'll be along in a moment.
Read this. Second column.
So he's going to marry Romanov, is he?
That's good for us. The better the title, the higher the stakes.
Not unless we get those letters.
We'll get them. Never you worry.
Foreman said you wanted to see me, Mrs. Larrabee.
What's this nonsense about you wanting to give notice?
Oh, well, I don't like the way you treat your friend.
Oh, you misunderstand, Teresa. She's ill. Not right in the head.
If we're harsh with her, it's only because we're thinking our own good.
You mean she's demented?
Quite.
Oh my, that does make a difference.
Run along now, and let's hear no more talk of your giving notice.
Yes, ma'am.
She's a silly thing. Might be wise to let her go.
Never. We have to keep up appearances.
Sid Prince here.
In the drawing room, Sid.
Oh, I let myself in. The door was locked and I couldn't resist the temptation to pick it. What's the game?
Over there. There's a Miss Alice Faulkner staying with us.
I guess, you might say.
We met her a few weeks ago. She was despondent. We gained her friendship. Seems her sister, poor thing, drowned herself.
She loved a man who could never marry a commoner.
A title gentleman, eh?
A prince. I mean,
Like me.
nothing like you.
He wrote letters to the unfortunate girl. Letters that could cause considerable embarrassment if he falls to the wrong hands.
He wants the letters back, eh?
We're dealing with an insurance company now. They're acting as a go-between for the prince.
And them letters is in here, right?
When Alice first came here, she trusted us. And she began to have doubts. She ordered the lock changed on our safe. When we found out, we couldn't frighten or starve her into opening the thing.
Sid Prince and her magic fingers. I'll have it open in a jiffy. I could do it blindfolded.
Never mind congratulating yourself. Just do the job.
Voila! Empty? Empty? And not even a speck of dust. So she fooled you again.
She'll pay for it. Get her!
I twist the truth out of her.
Look here, Madge. I don't go for no rough stuff.
You think I've come this close to a fortune to let it slip away?
Seems to me the girl's too clever for you.
She'll talk.
Pardon me, Miss Larrabee.
Yes?
I encountered a gentleman in the front. He went to the back.
What? Gentlemen!
His card.
Don't know the gentleman.
Who's the bloke?
Sherlock Holmes?
I'm getting out of here.
What's the matter?
Don't you know who he is?
Probably a representative from the insurance company?
He's a private investigator. I don't want to see him. He put me behind bars 2 years ago. He's a devil, that Holmes. It's him.
Keep calm, you don't have anything to worry about.
I'll hide.
Shall I admit the gentleman?
Of course, find out what he wants. I'll be upstairs.
Would you like to enter the drawing room, sir? Thank you. Would you like to take a seat, sir? Thank you. And whom would you like to see today, sir?
Take my card to Miss Alice Faulkner, please.
Miss Faulkner isn't taking any visitors. She's not feeling well, in poor health.
I prefer to hear that from Miss Faulkner.
As you wish, Mr. Holmes.
Fresh fingerprints, not more than a few moments cold. Particles of coal dust clinging to the dial.
Good heavens! Who are you?
No need for alarm. My name is Holmes. Sherlock Holmes.
Not the Sherlock Holmes, the famous young detective?
Actually, I'm a consulting detective. I assist the police with their more difficult cases. Who's been at the safe?
How should I know, Mr. Holmes?
There's only one woman in London who rooms at a hotel favored by Coleman, who's also a master at safe cracking. Sid Prince.
Sid Prince? Never heard of her.
Nevertheless, I suspect she's somewhere about. Please fetch her.
I'll try, sir.
Try the front. She's probably watching the house.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Holmes,
You are Miss Alice Faulkner?
I'm in poor health, Mr. Holmes.
You are Miss Faulkner.
I'm in poor health, Mr. Holmes. Please be brief.
Miss Faulkner, you've been dealing with a reputable insurance firm regarding certain letters.
That is my business, Mr. Holmes.
Incorrect? It is my business. The insurance firm has engaged my services.
You wish me to set a price?
I wish to speak with Miss Alice Faulkner.
And so you are.
Do not try my patience, Madge Larrabee. I know you and your husband are keeping Miss Faulkner a prisoner in this house, and unless you produce her at once, I shall inform the police. I happen to know the authorities in France are most anxious to learn of your whereabouts.
James! James! Bring her in here! Hurry! You're a clever man, Sherlock Holmes.
Clever? I'm not clever, Madge. I'm brilliant. And the sooner the criminal class realizes this, the sooner London will sleep in peace.
Let me go, you beast! Over there with her.
Who's he?
Sherlock Holmes, a detective. He's working with the insurance people.
Do not reach for your pistol, Larrabee. It would be a foolish gesture.
Pistol? I was reaching for my pipe.
You've been mistreating this poor girl. There are marks on her wrist.
I wouldn't tell him anything if I was you, Alice. All he wants is your precious letters.
Do you wish to lodge a complaint against these people?
I will handle this matter in my own way.
Miss Faulkner, I implore you, if you release the contents of your letters, there's no telling what damage you will cause.
What do I care for damage? I'm only interested in one thing, money.
The insurance people will pay you a fair price.
I am not interested in a fair price. You may tell your employers that the letters will cost them thousands and thousands of pounds.
May I see the letters?
You had to find them first.
Quick! Come quick! There's a fire below stairs! Smoke is coming out of the kitchen window!
Fire?
Where's the bill for me?
Don't let it spread! Why don't you help them?
Because I have the matter under control. When a woman thinks her house is on fire, her instinct is to rush to the thing which she values most. A married woman grabs at her baby. An unmarried one reaches for her jewelry. Or in this case, letters.
I am undone.
My only wish is to help you. You're in the clutches of two villainous criminals.
You're clever.
Brilliant.
You have the letters. You've won.
I have the letters, true, but I have not won.
Only a grease fire.
When we started, tipped over a pot of lard.
I cannot take these letters, Miss Faulkner, unless you turn them over voluntarily.
Why not?
That would be stealing.
You cannot have the letters.
In that case,
You're mad.
I am not happy with Miss Faulkner's decision, if that's what you mean. I would advise you to leave this house at once.
Don't worry, Mr. Holmes. I'm not afraid of them any longer. If they attempt to seize these letters, I shall destroy them. Tear them to shreds, eat them, burn them, but destroy them I shall. There is no profit in ashes.
You are a remarkable young woman, Miss Faulkner.
I shall go to my room. Stand aside.
I trust you will not take this matter lightly. If any harm should come to Miss Faulkner, I will hold the two of you personally responsible. Be warned. No need to show me to the door. I'll find my own way out.
Just when everything was going so well.
What are we gonna do?
All clear?
Not with that Sherlock Holmes onto us.
What about the letters?
Holmes didn't get them.
We have to go upstairs and take it by force.
What good would that do with Holmes on the scent? Besides, you heard her. She'll destroy them and not a penny for our trouble.
If Holmes is on your case and you need help, there's one man you gotta see.
Who?
Moriarty?
Moriarty? What?
Professor Moriarty, the Napoleon of crime? He hates Sherlock Holmes with a right passion. He'll get them letters for you and stop that snooper in his tracks.
Sounds good.
Where to?
Where else? To the professors.
Come on then.
The time has come for women to take their place in the scheme of things. For far too long, men have ruled the universe with no thoughts of sharing their power with their wives, daughters, sisters, sweethearts, mothers, and mother-in-laws. Is this right? No. Is this fair?
No.
Is this noble?
No.
Sometimes maybe.
Wyatt.
I put for my opinion.
We'll chain ourselves to the gates of the government house, the lords, the commons, the immorality, all the other bastions of male supremacy.
Here, here.
Good job!
Righto.
Bravo!
We'll demand that Queen Victoria declare a national holiday to commemorate the injustices done to women by unequal laws and unjust men. If all else fails, we'll refuse to serve tea.
Here, here.
Good job!
Righto.
Bravo!
What's rubbish? You women ought to be locked up.
No!
What's going on here?
It's these infernal suffragettes making a nuisance of themselves in the public street.
Well, it's the police talking to you. Move along, move along. Move along, I say. No trouble, no trouble.
Vote for women! Vote for women! Give women the vote!
There now, sir. Things are as quiet as a summer night.
I trust so, officer. Isn't safe to walk in London anymore.
Nothing to fear, sir. I'm here to protect honest citizens.
Oh,
What's wrong?
my necklace. Someone stole my necklace.
My wallet's gone.
Must have been the suffragettes. Quick, turn next corner and get help. I'll stop them women. Stop thief! Stop thief!
I understand our contact in the Tottenham area has been holding out on us again.
His collections from your protective society have fallen off by 2%.
I suspect that 2% has ended up in our contact's pocket. I think we can dispense with his future services.
Yes, Professor.
Arrange for his body to be found somewhere in the north of Scotland.
Yes, Professor.
What about the informant who was working undercover with Scotland Yard on the jewel heist?
Disposed of in the usual manner. There will be no trace.
as usual.
One of the dock workers in your employ was overheard mentioning that he was a close friend of Professor Moriarty's.
Professor Moriarty has no friend. Professor Moriarty is friend to no one. Have him attended to.
Yes, sir.
See that his disappearance is noticed. Have it spoken of. Have the workers on the dock wonder whatever became of their mate. If they conjure in their imagination, it'll be far worse than the truth.
You're a master of psychology, Professor.
Anything else?
Three of your men come up for trial on Thursday night.
Ah, yes, thanks to young Sherlock Holmes.
He'll be the crown's star witness.
Holmes has interfered with my plans once too often. I do not wish for him to testify.
Will you deal with him in the usual way?
You surprise me, my dear Joan. Sherlock Holmes is not a usual human being. Therefore, he cannot be dealt with in the usual manner. Commence. To Mrs. Bassick. Admit her.
The professor will see you now, Mrs. Bassick.
Report.
A respectable hall from the various suffragette meetings scattered around London.
Clarify respectable. Not as good as a hall from the Tower of London, eh?
Professor, Tower of London only comes once in a lifetime.
Perhaps next time I can raise seal the tower. Anyone out there?
Sid Prince.
Who?
Sid Prince, the safecracker. You used her to open the vault at the stock exchange.
I recall.
Any assignment for the evening, Professor?
I'll get word to you. It may be that I shall require your special talents.
Oh?
It all depends on how a conversation with a certain private investigator concludes. Any trouble with the police?
My suffragettes are well trained, Professor. Whether it seems like the jig is up, we'll stage a minor riot, and before the onlookers know it, they've been relieved of their wallets, baubles, and beads.
If I'd used you for previous assignments, 3 of my best men would be standing on the dock with Sherlock Holmes breathing down their necks.
I understand. If women get the vote, it'll be the end of our masquerade.
I do not intend to see so valuable a gang as our suffragettes lose their cover. To this end, I am working diligently to ensure that women do not receive the vote.
Understand.
Admit Sid. You'll get your cut in the usual manner.
Always a pleasure working with you, Professor.
Remember me, Professor?
You left coal dust on the vault of the stock exchange.
Oh, I did?
What do you want?
I come across something that might interest you.
Commence.
Seems this couple,
Names.
Madge and James Larrabee.
They're wanted by the French police.
Blimey, Professor, is there anything you don't know?
I don't know what you've come across that would interest me.
They met a young woman who has letters that would put the Prince of Bohemia in a very awkward way.
The Prince of Bohemia. Where are the Larrabees now?
Waiting.
You brought them here? To my secret underground office?
I vouch for the Larrabees.
I hope so, said Prince. Otherwise, the Thames River will have you for an overnight guest. Joan! Admit the Larrabees.
Yes, Professor.
I wouldn't do nothing to harm you, Professor Moriarty. You know that. You can trust it, Prince.
Trust? I trust no one. And that is why I will never be defeated. What is this business you have with the Prince of Bohemia?
I don't know if you want to tell you. I've After all, this is our game, not yours.
Is it?
Not even certain I want to be here.
Silence!
Here now! I don't like to be talked like that.
Obviously, you do not know to whom you are speaking to, Mr. Larrabee.
Don't anger the professor.
I'm not afraid of him.
You should be. Otherwise, you won't live another day. I have my methods.
Can you help us?
Who is the young woman in the case?
Alice Faulkner, stubborn. Her sister died in despair over the prince.
But not before the prince wrote many love letters.
We planned to sell them to the insurance company.
Everything was going fine. Then all of a sudden, like, they called him Sherlock Holmes.
That name again. Where are the letters now?
Alice has them on her person. She threatens to destroy them if we make a move.
You know the contents of each letter?
Of course.
You can make forgeries.
We have in our employ an extremely clever forger.
Foreman, by name.
Holmes has seen the letters.
Only the small packet he returned to Alice. He had no time to open the envelopes.
Tie the forgeries up so they will look exactly like the packet that Holmes held in his hand. I shall want that on my desk at 11 tonight.
It'll be ready.
You haven't said anything about the business arrangements.
You'll get an opportunity tonight to sell the counterfeit package to Holmes for a tidy round sum. You will take 100%, and I, nothing.
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 Nothing except a packet of real letters.
Careful, Jimmy boy. Don't anger the professor, I tell you.
You were, I believe, Mr. Larrabee, acquainted with an Alf Waxman.
I know old Alf, sure.
We all do.
Seen him around lately?
Now that you mention it, no.
And you won't be. He displeased me.
He won't cross you, Professor.
I should hope so. I'd hate to see you in widow's weeds.
You won't have any trouble from us, Professor Moriarty. We get what we can from Holmes.
What about the real letters?
The disposition of the real letters would be of no concern to you.
Yes, sir.
Whatever you say, Professor.
The interview's over. I bid you good day. Joe!
I was wondering, Professor, if you might have a small job for good old Sid Prince.
The interview is over!
Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir. Wonderful weather we're having.
Prince of Bohemia. Capital. Splendid. No. Professor Moriarty here. Bring my cab around front. I journey to Baker Street.
To Sherlock Holmes.
Baker Street is his residence, I believe.
You will go there yourself?
I will go there myself. I will offer a peace or death. By the way, Moriarty wins.
You're a marvel, Professor. A human marvel.
London fog. Invigorating.
Buy a flower, only a penny. Who wants one?
Good for the circulation.
You're speaking to me, sir.
What? Who? Oh, no. No, good woman. I was simply commenting on the healthful benefits of London fog. It's underrated. For some maladies, it can be most beneficial.
Bless me, sir. You talk like an educated man.
I'm a doctor. Watson by name.
Not the famous Dr. Watson. The one that writes about Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
The same.
I'm a great fan of yours,
yours, Dr. Watson.
You don't say.
Of course I can't, well, read myself, but I have a friend who can pronounce all the words.
Glad to hear it.
You and Mr. Holmes do have weird adventures. I've never gotten one with the case of the speckled band.
Like that one, did you?
Positively creepy. Scared me more than the case of the Sussex vampire.
Always happy to meet a loyal reader.
No charge for you, Dr. Watson. It's a pleasure.
How thoughtful. Thank you so much.
Buy some matches, sir? They're inexpensive. I've got all kinds.
Bless me. Baker Street's becoming a gypsy bazaar.
I have some from India and some from Sweden. A person can never have enough matches.
What's rubbish? You make them sound like they're the staff of life. Here. This should keep you quiet.
Thank you, Governor.
A person could never have enough matches.
Foolish child.
Look sharp.
I've kept my eye on the house. Watched everyone going in and everyone coming out.
The professor may require assistance. Cover all the alleyways into Baker Street. Be ready if and when needed.
I could decoy the policeman around the corner.
Good, don't attract undue attention. The professor is counting on us.
Matches!
Bye, flower! Only a penny! Once one!
Holmes! Holmes!
Must you yell, old fellow? I'm trying to concentrate on my music.
Oh! Do put it down, Holmes! I can hear the strings screeching from halfway up the block.
You should develop an ear for music.
I have an ear for music. It's your violin playing that makes me wish I were deaf.
Surely my playing hasn't put you in this agitated state?
It's the neighborhood.
Baker Street is a perfectly respectable neighborhood. Almost too respectable for my taste.
Too respectable?
I know, my dear Watson, that you share my love of all that is bizarre and outside the conventions and humdrum routine of everyday life. Baker Street hardly qualifies. It's comfortable, but routine.
You know, you wouldn't think so if you'd just run the gauntlet I just did. Match sellers, ribbon hawkers, suffragettes, push carts. It's busier than a fish market at dawn.
Baker Street is not the best area for commerce. Therefore, I suspect the match sellers, ribbon hawkers, suffragettes, and pushcart peddlers are not all as they seem.
Talking riddles again.
I see you visited Lely's bookstore within the hour and were unable to secure your weekly copy of London Review.
How the devil did you deduce that?
These traces of red clay on your shoe. The workmen are excavating at Lely's, and this particular shade of clay can only be found in that one locale. Also, the clay has not had time to dry.
Amazing.
Since London Review is the only reason you visit Lely's bookstore, and it's a large hardbound periodical that can't fit in your medical bag, I can only surmise that they were sold out.
You astonish me, Holmes.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
I met a fan, flower woman down the street. Pleasant sort. Great admirer of your exploits and my literary talent.
Mr. Holmes, sir,
What is it, Miss Hudson?
there's a gentleman to see you.
That would be Lestrade of Scotland Yard. He's not alone.
How did you know that?
It's of no importance. Please show the lady and gentleman in.
Right away, sir. I do hate to mention it, but some of the neighbors are complaining about your target practice.
Indeed.
I do wish you would use my rooms for that sort of thing. It ruins the wallpapers.
Quite right, Miss Hudson. Quite right. Lestrade and some woman.
Lestrade is merely acting as a police escort. The gentleman in question is none other than the Prince of Bohemia, and the woman is Lady Edwina Hunter, a distant relative.
And how can you be sure it's them? I looked out my bedroom window when they're getting out of their carriage.
Delighted to see you again, Lady Edwina. My colleague, Dr. John Watson.
Dr. Watson.
Delighted.
This is...
Softly. The walls may have ears. Pray, be seated.
We've come directly from the insurance people. They tell us you have taken complete charge.
Correct.
What progress have you made, Mr. Holmes?
Minimal.
Considering your reputation, that's hardly encouraging. You disappoint me.
We'll pay you any sum.
My professional charges are upon a fixed scale. I do not vary them except when I remit them altogether.
We're desperate.
Your Highness, did you love the sister of Alice Faulkner?
That's all in the past. The future is all that matters.
I see no reason not to answer. I loved her very much, Mr. Holmes. I would have married her.
Nonsense. You're too young to know your own mind. Infatuation, nothing more.
Did she know of your feelings?
Yes.
You say you would have married her, that she knew of your feelings. Hardly the motives for self-destruction.
I wasn't able to understand why she did it.
Curious. She's had everything to live for.
What matters now are those letters. In the wrong hands, they could be lethal.
I don't think we were followed.
No matter. It appears to me our time has been wasted. Mr. Holmes reports minimal progress.
I assure you, Lady Edwina, Holmes knows what he's talking about.
You'll forgive me if I do not share your enthusiasm. The stakes are too high for anything but positive results. I think we ought to return to the insurance people and register a complaint. I trust we may expect more than minimal progress in the near future, Mr. Holmes.
Please forgive my aunt, Mr. Holmes. She's been under terrible strain. I just can't bring myself to reprimand her.
I understand.
Excuse me, Your Highness. I just need a word with Mr. Holmes. That Lady Edwina's a cold one.
Her motives are clear. She only wants to protect the family honor.
Being the prince's bodyguard ain't my idea of ideal police work.
I'd consider it an honor.
Well, I've got him to worry about and the heist in the Tower of London. I hope he has time to help us with that, Mr. Holmes.
An audacious crime. Robbery at the Tower of London.
That would make an excellent title. Sherlock Holmes and the robbery at the Tower of London.
Maybe a story for your pen, Dr. Watson, but it's my job.
I assure you, once this affair with the Prince of Bohemia is concluded, the tower will have my full attention.
I'm obliged, Mr. Holmes. Count on the strain.
Count on the straight. Man is adult. I doubt he can find himself in the lost and found department.
The Prince of Bohemia is a rather unique client.
You consider the prince a mere client? Have you no compassion?
A client to me is a mere unit, a factor in a problem. The emotional qualities are antagonistic to clear reasoning.
You sound like a calculating machine.
The plot thickens.
What? Smells of kidney pie. Some of Miss Hudson's good English cooking.
Hardly. It's jasmine. Essence of jasmine.
Perfume?
Won't you come in, Miss Faulkner?
Bless me.
How did you know it was me?
There are 75 perfumes, which it is very necessary that a criminal expert be able to distinguish from each other. At the Larrabees, you radiated the scent of jasmine.
Remarkable deduction.
Elementary.
Holmes, where are your manners? Do sit down, my dear. I am Dr. Watson.
Thank you. I would like to speak with you privately.
Well, if you wanted to be alone.
No need, old fellow. I would like your opinion regarding this matter. You may speak openly, in front of Watson.
As you wish. I've come to correct a false impression.
Indeed.
I told you my primary motive was a desire for money. I do not want money.
You seek justice for your sister.
Justice? There is no justice. I seek punishment, revenge.
Revenge is not only sweet, it's sometimes therapeutic.
I seek nothing for myself.
Why did you not confront the prince outside the house?
That wouldn't prove anything. I want the whole world to know of his disgrace, his cruelty.
Cruelty? Prince Carl impressed me as a rather pleasant young man.
Watson, please.
Sorry.
Is this all you wish to tell me?
Why didn't you seize the letters when you had the opportunity?
Because I'm a detective second, and a gentleman first.
I see. I'll take no more of your time.
Well, I could have Miss Hudson brew some tea. She is famous for her cucumber sandwiches.
No, thank you, Dr. Watson. I've already imposed.
You're still at the Larrabees?
I've made arrangements to move to a hotel. Modest, but fashionable.
Was.
Good day, Sherlock Holmes.
Miss Faulkner?
Ow! Wow! Ooh! Lovely creature.
My methods seldom fail. She's taken the bait.
Bait?
She will never turn those letters over to me unless I have her complete trust. I am winning that trust.
She seemed charming. Disturbed, but charming.
I assure you, the most winning woman I ever knew was hanged for poisoning 3 little children for their insurance money.
Okay! You don't like Miss Faulkner.
To like a woman is the first step to loving a woman. Love is an emotional thing.
I would hope so!
Whatever is emotional is opposed to that cold, hard reason which I place above all else. Careful.
Mr. Holmes?
Easy, Watson. It's the Larrabee's maid.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, I'm so happy to see you.
Bless me! What are you doing coming in that way?
Foreman said no one must see me come in the front door.
Foreman?
My man at Larrabee's. Undercover agent.
I'm so nervous. What if the police saw me? They'd think I was a criminal.
Compose yourself. Sit down. Give me the message.
Foreman says they've got him making a bundle of forgeries.
They? You mean the Larrabees?
Yes, they're making copies of Miss Faulkner's letters.
I take it you understand from Foreman the seriousness of this business.
He has enlisted my aid. I'm your ally, Mr. Holmes.
Good show.
Poor Miss Faulkner. They told me she was demented. I'm quitting at once.
No, you mustn't do that.
No?
I wish you to tell Miss Faulkner that I propose to buy the false letters. Tell her you overheard the Larrabees discussing the matter with Foreman.
If you say so.
But do not tell her that I know the letters are counterfeit.
But why?
I have my reasons. If you should work with me in the future, I shall demand complete fidelity to my orders.
In other words, my dear, he doesn't want you asking any questions.
You do wish to help Miss Faulkner.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Foreman was right. You mustn't be seen. I suspect the house is being watched.
Watched?
Careful on your way out.
I find detective work exciting, Mr. Holmes.
I was afraid of that. Off you go.
Yes, sir.
Holmes, this apartment is busier than Victoria Station.
The game's afoot.
I do wish you would talk so I could understand you. Jeez.
What is it, Miss Hudson?
A match girl just brought news of my sister, Mr. Holmes. The one with headaches?
A match girl?
No, my sister. I'll have to go to her. No telling when I'll be back.
Watson and I can manage.
Mm-hmm.
What seems to be the trouble? Perhaps I could be of help?
I don't think so, Dr. Watson. It's her nerves more than anything. I'll brew her some rosehip tea.
We'll be quite all right.
There's some cold liver There's some cold liver on ice in case you get hungry.
Cold liver? Could have sworn it was kidney pie.
I'm expecting a visitor any moment. He will not enter this house unless he is quite certain I'm alone. Go after Miss Hudson, pretend to escort her to the tram, and then double back to the street. Do not attempt to enter this house unless you hear me cry out, or a gunshot disturbs the calm.
But Holmes!
No time to argue. Do as I ask. Hurry!
What's all the mystery? Never tell me a thing. People walking in, out.
Flowers, flowers, only a Patty who wants one.
Won't you come in, Professor? I find my violin relaxes me. Hand me my violin, and I can forget for half an hour miserable weather and the still more miserable ways of our fellow men.
I find the same solace in higher mathematics. Saving it for a client.
Do make yourself comfortable.
You're not surprised to see me.
Hardly. Your suffragettes have been gathering in the byways of Baker Street for the last hour.
You know about them, I see. But then I would expect no less of the great Sherlock Holmes.
You flatter me.
I've never underestimated you, Holmes. We are both connoisseurs. You and I have been fencing for years. Our pond gets smaller and smaller. We grow together like a couple of greedy old pike. Either I finish you, or you finish me, or we choke on each other. Either way, one of us must go.
I take it you have a proposal?
Join me, Holmes, in an alliance.
An unholy alliance.
I may yet tempt you.
Jewels from the Tower of London? Loot from robberies? Stock manipulations? Ugh. You disappoint me, Professor.
You and I know what is most desired. Power. Soon, I'll have enough power to create the greatest crime of all time. World War! Millions will be made. Millions with which to buy more power. Kings, presidents, emperors will be humbled at my feet. What a glorious spectacle, Holmes. The world in flames.
I will never let this happen.
If you do not wish to join me, then give me your assurance that you will never again hinder my plans.
And if I give no such assurance?
Destruction.
If I were assured of your destruction, Professor, in the interests of the public, I would cheerfully accept my own.
I shall miss you, dear Holmes.
I'm afraid I shall deprive you of that pleasure. Lestrade and his men are already rounding up as many of your gang as they can catch in the streets.
You'll come here next?
No. I don't know how you plan to put your grand illusion into effect, but you must be free to move about, so I can hound you and discover your plot.
You've seen fit not only to reject my proposal, but to do so with irritating smugness. Cannot allow this to stand. You win the first round, young Sherlock, but the second round will fall to me. You have been warned!
Game's afoot, Moriarty. I will not sleep until I have you behind bars and your plans are ruined. You have been warned.
House of Commons denies petition to give women the vote. Suffragettes right outside British Museum. Read all about it. London plagued by robberies. London still gripped by outbreak of crime and violence.
How so?
Very preoccupied, my dear, very preoccupied.
So, what's the game tonight?
Well, we're in this warehouse again, so close to the Plumstead Marshes. I say we play a game of murder.
If the professor doesn't stop dropping people in water, he's going to clog the sewer.
Careful. Someone's coming.
Moriarty, you in here? Just us suffragette mice, Miss Prince.
Scared me half to death that you did, Mrs. Bassett. Me hurts racing.
Sit down.
Gladly.
Anyone see you coming?
No. Mind if I remove my pipe?
No!
Now what?
You might throw the match on the floor.
What of it? What over gas lines? They're old.
They leak.
Now that you mention it, I can smell gas. Dangerous stuff.
Deadly.
Might say we're in a gas chamber, so no matches.
Amen to that. Who's that?
Must be Gas House Gertie.
It's her. Can't mistake that one.
Greetings, one and all.
Did you bring it?
Of course I did. One of me finest, too.
Let's see it.
What's that wicked-looking thing?
It's a time bomb, dearie. Ain't it lovely?
Ain't the type of thing I want to find in my Christmas stocking. What's the professor going to do with that? Who's it for?
All in good time.
Was you there the whole time, Professor?
I should be brief.
It's my finest piece of work, Professor.
It better be Gas House Gertie. Or
Or?
trap door beneath my foot. Drops to the slimy marsh.
You can trust my work, Professor. I stand by my product.
Trust. There's no word to use to Moriarty. Timing.
5 minutes leeway once it's set.
If that goes off, it'll look like a tidal wave hit the marsh.
Precisely.
Use it to be, Professor.
Young Sherlock Holmes.
He's a big fish, that one.
They won't be able to stop Holmes up with a blotter. Who's that?
According to my schedule, it should be Mr. James Larrabee. Stand by for when you need it.
This way.
Had a devil of a time finding this place.
Sit down. You delivered the letters to Holmes as ordered?
I did. Telling him to meet me here at midnight. Will he come?
Holmes must produce those letters for his client or suffer irreparable damage to his reputation. Holmes has one fault that will trip him.
What's that?
Vanity. When you're finished with Holmes, give 3 short whistles.
Not sure I can do that. I can manage 1, but 3 takes talent.
Here. Use this.
Thank you, Professor.
Now, creep! When you're finished with Holmes,
Beg pardon?
Mrs. Bassett will know what to do. Sit!
Here I am. At your service, Professor.
Stand guard by the alleyway. When young Holmes nears, signal with the bird call.
Bird call?
Coo, coo, coo!
I'm your woman, Professor.
Good luck, Larry.
What if Holmes brings the police? What if you try something? Creepy old warehouse. Turns my blood to ice water. Sorry I got mixed up in all of this. Don't like that Professor Moriarty. Too spooky for my taste. Huh? Holmes? You?
What is this place? It smells of a gas leak.
Then I can think Archer, Alice. At the moment, it's my place of business. How do you get here?
I followed you in a cab.
What are you gonna do? Inform the police?
I know what you're up to if that concerns you. You're going to sell
You're going to warn him.
I will not let him be swindled and deceived.
How do you plan to stop me?
I could buy you off.
Why should you be protective of Sherlock Holmes?
That is my affair.
An affair of the heart, maybe? You place yourself in danger in coming here. How much will you give?
The real letters.
Have you got them with you?
No, but I can get them.
You think he's your friend, don't you? He's not. Otherwise, he'll be coming here to buy the letters.
Fake letters?
He doesn't know that.
Before he would buy any letters, he would ask my permission.
He won't get the chance.
What's that for?
Tie her up and gag her.
No, no!
Don't struggle, dearie. Just make me irritated.
Wait, I can give you the real letters.
Don't trust her!
It's too late for that. Holmes could be here any second. You know what to do.
We know our business, Mr. Larrabee.
You do what the professor said, and there won't be any problems.
Finished?
Neat and tidy.
Have you no shame?
Can't afford it. Make sure she can't cry out. Nice scheme all fall to pieces. Huh? Has to be Holmes.
I wish I could understand why the criminal element so fancies the Plumstead marshes.
The West India docks are too public.
Water rats favor these marshes. Perhaps that's the connection.
Never shy with an insult, are you, Mr. Holmes?
Not where rogues are concerned.
Got my message, I see.
Obviously.
I picked this place because it was neutral territory.
Nonsense. It's one of Moriarty's caves. I've been here on other occasions dealing with riffraff.
Moriarty? Never heard of him.
As a liar, you're a rank amateur, Mr. Larrabee.
I tell you, I never heard of Moriarty.
I'm here to discuss letters.
They're sitting right in front of you.
Miss Faulkner has consented to the sale. On the contrary, I would say Miss Faulkner knows nothing of this affair. So let us omit her name from our discussion.
What makes you think she's in the dark?
Your every look, tone, gesture.
You think you can read me like a book?
Oh, a children's book. Get on with it.
How much will you give?
1,000 pounds.
5.
I've brought the sum with me.
Won't take less than 5, I tell you.
My time is quite as limited as yours. 1,000 pounds. If you desire to sell at this figure, advise me at once. Otherwise, I shall bid you a good evening.
Wait, will you give me 2?
1.
Oh well, why quibble? £1,000, it is.
My letters?
Paid for and delivered.
Now I've got you, Larrabee. You'll get 10 years for robbery.
Robbery?
These letters.
You don't have a witness.
Miss Faulkner herself. I saw her enter this warehouse, and intermingled with the odor of escaping gas is the unmistakable scent of jasmine. Where are you hiding her?
Pay no mind. It's them water rats.
When you're behind bars, the professor will have lost one more incompetent crook.
Think so?
A whistle. Bit theatrical, isn't it?
Now who's got the upper hand?
I warn you, I learned uncommon fighting techniques in the Orient. My hands and feet are deadly.
All cough, we got it pinned.
We play it safe. We got the girl.
counterfeit suckers, Sid Prince, and the destructive Gashouse Gertie.
What are you waiting for? Tie him up.
It's not difficult to imagine who's at the bottom of this.
He knows what the professor is.
No matter. The professor's agent, he sent a message for you.
Indeed.
He gives his kindness compliments and wishes a pleasant journey.
A journey?
A pleasant journey to the other side.
Hand me the buffalo bon voyage kit. Ain't it pretty? It's a bomb. Oh, I hope so, Judy. That's what it's supposed to be.
5 minutes?
I'll set the timer. Just like boiling an egg.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Pleasure to see the last of you, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
The rope's tight.
They can't twist their hands out of those knots.
Let's go.
The great detective. Blown to bits in the Plumstead marshes.
Who is this professor they speak of?
The most evil man in London. I suspect, Miss Faulkner, he wishes the marriage to take place. That is why he's taken an interest in the letters.
I don't understand. 4 minutes.
The marriage takes place. He can then produce the letters, proving that Prince Karl married under a cloud, that he employed deception.
Go on.
This affront to the honor of the Russian Royal Guard would demand satisfaction.
Satisfaction?
War.
War? 3 minutes.
The professor would then be in a position of unbelievable power, since he controls the munitions cartel. That is the scheme. Count on it.
Incredible.
Miss Faulkner, your sister died, not as you believe, but at the hands of a hired assassin.
Can I believe that?
I know Moriarty's methods.
Although we will soon be going out together, I feel I hardly know you. Here you are, doomed because of me. I can't help but feel responsible.
These things happen.
If only you had stayed out of the case.
When Moriarty's involved, matters demand my presence. 2.5 minutes.
So then this is goodbye.
Nonsense. I shall free myself from these bonds and survive.
How?
In Tibet, I studied the thought concentration of the holy monks. They had the amazing power to shrink their hands through intense meditation.
Meditation? We haven't the time.
Om. Om.
Do hurry, Mr. Holmes.
Om.
Mr. Holmes. 1 minute. We're doomed.
Never!
Thank heavens.
Proper breathing is a great boon to mankind. It's a shame so few men and women know how to breathe properly. That's concentration, of course.
I shall have to try it sometime, but not now.
You are a brave young woman, Miss Faulkner.
And right now, I'm a frightened young woman. We must go.
After you, Miss Faulkner.
There's only seconds left.
41, to be precise.
in Sunday clothes.
Scotland Yard. Royal wedding plans are real. Queen Victoria gives her blessing. Russia and Austria sign long-term peace pact. More military buildup in Europe. Munitions stock rise. Millions invested in bombs, bullets, and cannons. Extradition, extradition. Police arrest fake suffragettes. Mysterious explosions in London marshes.
I've written out your prescription, Miss. Sorry, I've seemed to have forgotten your name.
Miss Gibbs, Doctor. Miss Lillian Gibbs. Thank you for your time. Although, I'm sorry to discover Mr. Holmes isn't home.
Yes, I have a lot of patients who come here hoping to see him.
Just a glimpse is all I wanted. I wouldn't dream of intruding on his privacy. Sure he's not here?
My dear young woman, I've already told you he's not here. I'm not in the habit of lying.
I didn't mean to appear rude.
It's a Miss Baskerville, Dr. Watson?
Baskerville. Baskerville.
I won't take any more of your time. Come in.
Peculiar thing, that Miss Gibbs. Not a thing the matter with her.
I'm desperate for help. You must tell me when Mr. Sherlock Holmes will return.
I have no idea. Come sit down. What seems to be the trouble? Perhaps I can assist?
My uncle, he was recently killed by a gigantic ghost hound.
A what?
I'm sorry. Did you say a ghost hound?
On the moors outside the manor house. The villagers say it's a family curse. The hound of the Baskervilles.
Good gracious. Doesn't sound like a proper English ghost at all.
My brother, Sir Henry, is next in line for the inheritance. I must speak with Mr. Holmes.
There.
My brother will be the next to die. I know it's over.
Excellent idea, Mrs. Hudson. Perhaps when you've had your tea, Holmes will return. Yeah. Poor child. Gigantic ghost town. What next? Holmes, what the devil?
We're alone?
Of course we're alone. What are you doing coming in that way?
I wanted to make certain Moriarty saw me.
Then why did you not come in the front way?
There has to be a certain mystery regarding my return to Baker Street. You see, he means to kill me.
You mean in here?
He missed his chance in the Plumstead marshes.
Were you mixed up in all that?
In a fashion. Any unusual visitors this morning?
Some poor girl complaining about a dog?
Dog?
And a Miss Lillian Gibbs, who seemed awfully like the description you gave me of a Madge Larrabee.
Excellent. Undoubtedly here to see if I was in hiding. The knot draws tighter. Miss Hudson!
What about the letter business?
I sent word for Lady Edwina and Prince Carl to meet me here within the hour.
With Moriarty on the prowl?
What better time?
Mr. Holmes, sir, I didn't hear you come in.
That is what you may expect to hear, and I do not wish to be heard. Be so kind as to fetch the cabbie on the corner.
Cabby still wait on the corner. Not enough business for them?
I believe you will find one there this morning. Inform the cabbie you have a tenant who wishes to go to the following address. 106 Harley Lane.
Who's going out?
I am.
But you just came in.
Do hurry, Miss Hudson.
Right away, sir.
106 Harley Lane. Why, that's the address of the insurance firm that hired you.
Correct.
So you're going there while everyone's coming here!
Correct again. Hello, what's that?
Some medical supplies I had delivered?
Might do. It's heavy.
Might do for what?
Do stop asking so many questions and give a hand.
You want it there?
Curious.
What?
That he's here so soon.
Who?
No, those are not the footsteps. Jasmine!
Oh.
Pray forgive me for coming here against your instructions.
I expect no thanks, but I told you I had an important business meeting here at this hour. Shh.
What is it?
Shh. Shh. Miss Faulkner, quickly. Play a patient. Keep your back to the visitor.
What visitor?
Watson, I rely on you.
Hurry, my dear, hurry.
Cab. Oh, there you are, my good man. I wish to go to 106 Harley Lane and then to Victoria Station. You'll have trouble with that chest. It's heavy.
I can manage.
Now, my dear, about those dizzy spells.
They give me no relief.
And when did you first notice this condition?
About a fortnight ago.
Can I give you a hand?
Might help.
Perhaps I ought to unload some of the contents. I don't want anything to break in transit.
I know my job. Why don't you?
Too late. I've got you.
Mr. Holmes, why is the cabman in handcuffs?
Cabman? No, Miss Faulkner. I give you the author of all the evil that has transpired. Professor Moriarty.
Ah!
I may swoon.
Steady! I'm here, my dear.
Now's the time, Lestrade.
Call me Mr. Holmes.
Sorry you didn't have the opportunity to finish me off.
It's two of us.
I doubt I would ever have reached Victoria Station. So do I.
One like clockwork, eh, Mr. Holmes?
Here's your man. Oh, permit me to introduce you to the Larrabee's butler, Professor. He's one of my agents.
London will sleep easy tonight, thanks to you, Mr. Holmes.
May she always do so. Have you apprehended Madge Larrabee?
Yes, and her husband too.
Splendid. I will not only have the pleasure of testifying against your men, but against you as well. Take them away, Lestrade. I curse you! I, Professor, return the compliment.
What will they do to him?
The gallows, I trust. Oh, you received my message. Excellent. Who were those men? Two were reasonably respectable citizens. The evil-looking one is a minor criminal.
Minor? You consider Professor Moriarty a minor criminal?
We have more serious matters to discuss.
Not more serious than Professor Moriarty.
Please sit down, Lady Edwina.
I prefer to stand.
Can we get on with it? At once.
Do you or do you not have the letters?
I have them. At the cost of 1,000 pounds.
What are you up to, Mr. Holmes?
What's wrong, Carl?
These are not the real letters.
What?
They're forgeries. Cleverly done, but forgeries nevertheless.
Are you certain?
Mr. Holmes, in spite of supposed cleverness, they have tricked you.
You have disappointed Queen Victoria.
Moriarty's won. I am ruined.
Surely this does not mean you may not recover the real letters.
I'm afraid it does.
The prince put such trust in you.
The insurance people told me I could count on you.
Do you have any idea what this will do to international affairs?
This will be a slap in the face of your reputation.
I am ruined. Ruined.
You are not ruined.
Well, well. Your Highness, I notified you by messenger that the letters would be in your hands within this hour.
Carl, are they genuine?
Quite genuine. Your reputation is secure, Mr. Holmes.
But what of those other letters? The forgeries?
Holmes's methods are unorthodox.
If you say so, Dr. Watson, but I really don't understand.
What matters now is that we have the real letters.
True.
I'm sure you'll appreciate the strain Mr. Holmes has been under.
Naturally. I shall inform the insurance firm our complete satisfaction.
You're too kind.
I'll show you out.
You have been invaluable.
You knew the letters the Larrabee sold you were counterfeit.
Yes,
When you told me of this important meeting, you knew I would come here.
I hoped you would.
You knew I would never allow you to be disgraced.
I am an excellent trickster, Miss Faulkner. Before you say another thing, I detect a hint of romance in your voice.
Your powers of observation are remarkable.
If ever I had time for romance, if ever my heart could reach out to another.
Don't stop.
Alice,
Sherlock.
Alice.
Sherlock.
Oh, Mr. Holmes! Do forgive me.
You are...
Maggie Baxterville. My brother is Sir Henry Baxter.
niece and nephew of the murdered Sir Charles Baskerville.
Yes.
I know the case.
Only this morning my brother received letters that he will die at the fangs of a gigantic ghost hound.
Not more letters.
Downstairs, Miss Baskerville. I'll follow. There's not a moment to lose.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Goodbye, Alice. Think of me as one of the stately homes of England. Fascinating to visit, impossible to live with. Watson! Come along, Watson! The game's afoot!